As you've heard, carbohydrates are important to give you energy when you're exercising. Now with channel swimming, one of the things that's a little bit different to normal recommendations is around the types of carbohydrates that we need to take. So there's something called multiple transportable carbohydrates. And when we look at this theory, it talks about how much carbohydrate you need and whether you need to use different types of carbohydrates. The evidence tells us, particularly in things like running and Ironman, that unless you need more than 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour, there's no use at using different types of carbohydrates. Now, when we work with our channel swimmers, the truth is that it can be beneficial, even at low levels, to make sure that you're using a wide variety of carbohydrates, different types of carbohydrates, so they're absorbed through different means and different channels. Because these carbohydrates are absorbed in different ways, I like to describe it like a 4-lane highway. If we're looking at just, we've got one single lane and we've got 10 cars, that's going to be a packed lane. Obviously 10, not so many, but thinking about that. If you've got that over 4 lanes, then you've actually got more ability to absorb carbohydrates in different means. So this is where different types of carbohydrates can be important. So the most common type of carbohydrate used in sports is dextrose or maltodextrin. And this can be, a bit of an issue if all of your carbohydrates are coming from that source and you're not having any sucrose, glucose or fructose. Once you start to add in those different types of carbohydrates, it opens up the new lanes. And I know you know as much as I do the excitement when you're driving along in a packed freeway and then suddenly a lane opens up and you've got more room. And that's how the carbohydrates feel as well. So if you're having one type, you've got more chance of feeling sick and more chance of not getting the speed, the energy that you need, because all of that carbohydrate isn't absorbed because that lane or that absorption site can be blocked. So this is why I think it's really important to have multiple transportable carbohydrates throughout your swim, even if your requirements are not over that 60 grams an hour, which for many swimmers, it's not going to be that high. But it can be helpful to have different types of carbohydrates. It may be that you have 2 types of drinks and then have a different type. And it's important to have a look at what the carbohydrate source is within your drinks or within your carbohydrate sources, because I often find athletes will make little changes, but what they're actually doing is making a big change to the composition. 2 gels, 2 electrolyte drinks, 2 carbohydrate drinks are not created equally. Sometimes they are exactly the same, and when we've looked at a plan, we've tried to put in different types of carbohydrates. So included within your toolkit today, I've included some example plans and some examples, different types of carbohydrates in common foods, so that you can work out how to create a plan so that you're getting lots of different types of carbohydrates so that you're not relying on one absorption site when you're swimming, which can cause a few problems.